So I have platform, job, sim, blogger, and our drive, our table with the different entries open. So one issue that a recurrent issue, Thailand, was that we were getting images of different sizes. So if you see, I froze some of your entries because the image was a different size from. So if you go back to Blogger, you see that some of your latest entries have been converted back to draft. But then, it made me think, if the issue is recurrent, then we need to do something about it. So you can see them on the screen here, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna, So most of them are in research. So I'm gonna unfreeze the ones that are in research, so you can get a feeling. So if we go now to research in the platform, you see the way we've been doing so far is for each media type, we have a standard image size, right?
Yes.
You see, it's always 200 by 135. But then I saw that, in several instances, you prefer not to follow this this standard. So I'm going to republish this one and a few more, just to get a feeling, because it just feels different. I don't think it's worse. So I've been thinking maybe we should just get rid of this standard.
Yeah. So exactly, this is why I actually let that standard go. So the reason why I discarded this is because when I was picking pictures with better resolutions, the website didn't look uglier. So why to try to limit ourselves in lower resolution, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a matter of resolution, because you can take the image at the resolution you want. It's just a matter of then squeezing to a standard size or not. But I think, I mean, if Blogger is now a bit stuck, but I think, I mean, after looking at what you've done, I don't think it makes the web page worse.
Uglier, no. Which is why I've checked, and then I saw that the web page was still okay. So I kind of set myself free from the 200 times 135 pixel restriction, because even though it's not resolution, the more you diminish the size of a picture, the more the detail on it is.
Yeah, no, but it's. I mean, I agree with the size, okay, but it's just a matter of shape, okay. It's not just the proportions, right? So the decision here is whether we keep a standard shape, so landscape or portrait, always the same proportions, right? Or if we keep changing them. I think if we accept to change them, a positive thing is that we have less work to do in a way. So, you can do your entries. There is one less step, say, in preparing an entry. For some reason, Blogger is not responding very well. Sorry about that. So, I mean, the only idea is that we can keep the images as we wish. The only thing to follow will be to set the image on the top left always for the moment, and then we may change, and then select medium and left, and then put it at the top of the text. So at least we have the images all on the same side. Okay, I think this is something we can.
I think this is the one that I always followed thoroughly. So I haven't dropped that step at all. So also the reason why I began to prefer bigger sized pictures and different kind of shape pictures is because look at, for example, the Anthropocene title under the research tab, right? And it looks very beautiful. I mean, you see the picture looks very beautiful. So it was like a free picture I found on Google, which fits very well there. So with this restriction of 200 times 135 pixel, this kind of beautiful pictures are tough to obtain, I guess. You see the world picture, the world under lights of the evening. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy, you know, if we do these changes, I would like to discuss them before we do them, because otherwise, you know, I mean, I think it's just fair that other people agree, you know, if there is, what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, you're right. Well, you're right. But on the other sense, I guess that I mean we should also count on the aesthetics approaches of the editors, right? If they are seeing that the website keeps looking beautiful, then why to try to get approval of everyone? It's gonna slow down the process.
I mean, yeah, I think, you know, one thing, if we accept this now, I mean, one thing that we have to do is go back to the old entries and change all the images, basically, because otherwise we have a series of images that are all standard, and then all the other entries are different. So I think it's, you know, the overall look at the web page should be coherent, you know, whichever we agree is the, you know, what we prefer for several reasons. I think the whole website as a whole should look coherent. So accepting your change, I mean, I'm happy, you know, is an input. We integrate that input. It probably saves us time in the long run. But now I think it requires also that we go back to all the previous entries and we get rid of this standard that we have used for the previous, you know, couple of hundred entries. You see what I mean?
I see. I understand. Then here, I think as well that to an untrained eye, the whole thing, the incoherence of the images is not really jumping out of the screen, I would say. So if I scroll down, I mean, there is no like images popping up from right and left. So the transition is smooth, I would say. So to me, I mean, my personal view is that we should not go to change everything that we have done previously.
I mean, if you scroll down to the end in the research, you'll see, you know, apart from the few entries that you have done, all the others have exactly the same size throughout. So
yeah, it doesn't that much bothering, right? I mean, it's okay. They are changing, the shapes are changing, but it's not really scratching the eye, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this is my point of view, obviously. I don't know what Amit thinks or what other things. I am happy to change the previous entries that I've done, or I can revert back to 200 times 135. Which was also a task which is tiring, right? Trying to reshape the images that you find.
No, exactly. I think that's the main point. That because when I saw your entries, I found, you know, some movement in the sizes is not bad, actually. You know, it gives, you know, it's just makes it different, and it relates to another point I had in the agenda, which is also something you brought up on an earlier meeting we had, and it was the indexing, having a keyword sidebar, and yeah, the other point was on so having a keyword on the homepage. So I'm going back to the homepage here. So a possible idea was to, you know, kind of shift, or even in the long run simplify or get rid of altogether of this media-based menu, right? move it somewhere else to the left-hand side, or just get rid of it. And then the option I had was below, under the search bar, having a list of keywords, a running list, a list that keeps going. It can be alphabetical, whatever, with keywords. Keywords can be climate, COP, COP23, COP21, IPCC, oceans, sustainability, keywords that we have, that we are, or extinction. I can make a list of keywords, and then people can explore. So this is just a first hint into search, right? And this is one of the reasons why I think we can get rid of the size standard as well, because as people make their own content, their own web page in a way, selecting a team, searching for a team they are interested in, then they will get eventually, images from different supports, from different media that we have selected. Images will be different. So that was an idea. I don't know how easy it would be to implement it, if there is already a tool, an app, or an extension, or somewhere in Blogger that we can use. Amit will tell us about that. But that was the idea. And then I thought, so we could have. Can you see my web page here? Yeah.
Yes, on the screen.
Yeah. So my idea was to have on top here search, and on bottom have something like a button that says A to Z, which means if I click that one, I get all the content of the platform on Dropboxing web page in alphabetical order, everything, right? But if I want to go, and then in between the two, I have this rolling keyword bar, and then I can select on whichever keyword I want.
I think it's a brilliant idea in the sense that a visitor who will have no initial clue of the website will have a much quicker understanding of what it's about. So I think it's a very good way, good path to choose. If I have to build on this idea, I would strongly suggest to link the background image, or as you call this slider image, with the keyword. So whenever a keyword slides down, for example, CO2 comes, and then an image related to CO2 appears, for example, or let's say global warming. Global warming comes as one of the keywords which are sliding down. It comes to the center. As soon as it comes to the center, a very nice, huge image of representing global warming, a beautiful image representing global warming, appears and covers the whole screen. And then the keyword at the right, for example, slides further and passes to, I don't know, to another topic, which would be, I don't know, rocks, for example, forests, and then another picture, beautiful picture, is gonna cover the whole screen, and then it's gonna keep going, right? So I think this way the visitor will have an easier link. Will find much easier to link with the website, because it's gonna have the keywords and the pictures. So reading material and visual material all together to link him to the website.
But we have several images for each topic. How do you solve that?
Well, it's even better, right? So each time, for example, global warming appears at the slide bar, we are going to randomly select one of our 4 beautiful pictures for global warming.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Technically, I mean, it sounds good. I think technically is an extra effort to be made, because these images need also to be connected, and they are connected via keywords to the actual content, right? So now to the actual entry corresponding to that image. So each image that we put in the slider is related, because it's where it comes from, is related to content in the web page, right? And this is something we cannot skip, because it's what keeps us on the safe side in terms of copyright. Like we are copy pasting these images from the web, and the only way for us to do it legally within legal boundary is to mention explicitly where they come from.
I agree, but we can do it. We can do it again by pushing the legal boundaries as much as we can. We can do it somewhere in the website which is like barely seen, and then we just can like clear out this legal issue, right? And what is the risk? Then the cops are gonna
I mean, it's just you know, everything you add up is time consuming.
Yeah,
I mean, it's already the way we do the slider is already the most time consuming thing probably in terms of operations to make, because we have to, you know, download the picture, get it to the big size that we need. We need to send. We need to upload it through the web. Send the link to Amit with the keyword. So it's still a very cranky issue. I think it is very important, because we want to have a very nice homepage to land on at the end. I think I would go by stages. You know, let's decide what the priority is. If it's having this keywords on the side, and maybe Amit can tell us how to implement that, if that's possible. And then we do the second stage. I mean, we need the keyword first. You know, we need a keyword slider first to be able to then connect it to the slider, right?
Right. So first of all, again, you know, great ideas, but we are quite limited by technical development. All this, well, of course, is possible if it's a logic, it can be implemented, but you know, we're quite limited. Again, in the spirit of slow and incremental change, I would say that what is possible right now is that this medium categorization is one sidebar. And on the other sidebar, we have top 10 picks, which can be mentioned on the editor's dashboard manually and will be picked up by the website.
Okay, I mean, the thing is,
I think that the daughter interrupted.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
And again, in the intermediate, my idea is that this medium-based sidebar can go to the left, and on the right there could be a 10 keywords which can be picked up, proposed by editors, and 10, maybe 12. I know that search bar, once clicked on the search bar, a drop down suggestion can come, but we shouldn't make a comprehensive list there in the search bar. There should be, let's say, 5 or 6 suggestions that drop down, you know, rather than have a comprehensive list.
I mean, sorry for interrupting, but it's not drop down. We are talking about the sliding keywords, if I understood correctly from Andreas' point, which was a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I'm saying for one, the fact that we are limited by technical bandwidth, and the other in the spirit of being, let's say, slow and incremental change.
Yeah, but can we, Amit?
2 sidebars and some suggestions in the once clicked on the search bar.
Amit, do you think we could ask Massimiliano, for example, if he has time to look into that? At least, you know, put it in the agenda, and you know, ask Massi, you know, can you please look into Blogger possibility to have a sliding or a running sidebar with, you know, n number of keywords. I think ideally we could have 100, you know, in alphabetical order.
Yeah, sure. We can have let's say a scrolling sidebar. Yes,
exactly.
We can ask Massimiliano.
Because I think the more keywords we have there, and the more information we're giving to the reader about what the web page is about.
Yeah, sure. Yes, we can try to have it. I can ask Massimiliano.
Yeah.
So, what about having the full background, beautiful picture linked to
Well,
the keyword?
first of all, I agree that we need to have our original picture, like out of copyright images, for that. But that's not a very big problem. I mean, we can have our own original images. But right now, the slider moves independent of whatever else is going on the page. What we are talking here about is like uh, yeah, it's what you're talking about is also possible, and I can look into it, but it's not the answer. It's not again. I don't have a ready answer for this.
Yeah. And by the way, why there is this spirit of incremental change? I mean, if this is a startup, by definition, incremental change should be there, right?
We have no we
All
have
there
no
should be radical.
we have no
No
technical
money.
development available. None.
What about this guy, the IT guy that Anthropocene would agree to pay?
Yeah, so he's nowhere to be found. Actually, I'm actually chasing him for the list of some major, like not even good looking changes, but trying to debug the website, and I'm not able to kind of reach out to him. I'm not able to get priority from him. Again, my late. Yeah.
Just to sum
Which IT
up,
guy?
Thailand and Amit, just the key points. So free sizes of images in the entries, whichever media we choose. But images need to be small or medium possibly, and top left. Okay, position for each entry of the image is top left, and size is medium, standard size within Blogger. Okay, but then the sizes can be as big as possible, and then the shape that we want, square, landscape, whatever. Okay, so no restrictions there. The only thing I asked to be very careful is tagging. So I saw some of the people were tagged as institutions or books. I don't remember now, but tagging needs to be. We need to be accurate with that. Then for the slider, I suggest for the moment we maintain the standard size that we have, and we try. So standard size is 640, 940 by 960 by 640, I think. So 16/9. Okay. Minimum is 960, 640, I think.
96540, and the
okay, that's the minimum.
recommended is 900.
But then I suggest, which is something I've been doing, and this is going into Thailand's direction, if we can have bigger resolution, of course, we should save them in bigger resolution, right? So if you can have 1600 by 900, we should save, because then when we do the implementation of the full page image, we already have the images.
Yes, there is no restriction even currently on the maximum size, as long as it's 16:9. The minimum restriction is 96540. That's it. So
exactly. So we keep the same protocol, but we start implementing that possibility. What do you think, Thailand? And
I agree. And why there's a restriction even at the slider side in terms of size? If this is 3000 times 2000, for example, what is the harm?
The problem is that the way we have it now, the transition is a transparent transition. So if you don't have it the same size, is not nice. I mean, you get the image keeps mixing.
This I understand, but if the picture covers the whole screen, then it's not an issue anymore.
No, the only thing that we need is 16:9.
Exactly.
Yeah, the ratio. Okay.
Yeah.
Not the pixels. So there's no pixel boundary.
is the ratio.
There is no upper limit on. There is no upper restriction on pixels. As long as it's 659, there is a minimum restriction of 96540.
Exactly, which is the size of the slider now. But bigger than that, anything.
Well, the size of the slider is 640 360, but never mind that. I mean, I have put a restriction of the image, which is slightly, let's say, is 1.5 times the slider, so that the resolution is good.
Okay.
Okay.
By the way, Amit, why aren't we changing the IT guy?
There is no one, Thailand.
And the last point, just to close, was that I think, the last point was about the keyword rolling bar. So asking Masi if he can spend a couple of hours looking into that. Okay.
Right. And I will reach out to Massimiliano.
Yeah, and there was another important point that I wanted to discuss, and this was propped by Prerna doing the tutorial, and because she has obvious journalistic skills, and I was wondering, and I think we should discuss it all together at the first opportunity, but about an extended model of editorial tasks. For example, today is the last day of COP23. So we have it published somewhere in the webpage, I think. But then, it was a week, it's a very important topic. And then the only thing we do on the webpage is we link the webpage of COP23. But I think, when we have this kind of big events, editors, one editor interested in a specific topic could delve into it and do a coverage, all right, during the week. So apart from posting the webpage of the COP and the information that COP23 is on, if some of the editors is interested and has the time and will, I think they could say, okay, I'm gonna, for this week, instead of putting in entries suggested by Andrea, I'm gonna take this one and then delve into it and then publish n number of specific informations from COP23, all right? Like main agreement, or, this week there were a few big announcements. One was that for the first time, we are above 400 part per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. So, there could be an entry related to that outcome of COP. Today, there was, the final agreement of COP23. The other day, there was a discussion on the role of China, growth in China, what is the impact? So I think, if one of the editors and this can be done for an institution, can be done for a person, we find a person that is doing a lot about the Anthropocene. So rather than just putting in the personal profile, then we can delve, do some more journalistic research, I would say. For a week, for a period, for a month, whatever, an editor says, okay, for this month, I'm gonna look into plastic recycling or circular economy, or choose a topic and delve into it. What do you think, Tyler?
Well, I didn't quite understand.
Okay, the suggestion was, say, you are interested into ways to clean the oceans from plastic. Okay. So I send an entry. Okay. About someone who has invented a bean that a kind of a bean that sucks in plastic from the ocean. You say, oh wow, this is a topic I would really like to expand and explore as an editor. I'm going to take the next 2 weeks, and instead of doing other entries suggested by Andrea, I'm going to extend on the issue of taking out plastic from the ocean, and then you do your own research on the web and you look at that topic and you insert material on that topic. So it's a step forward in terms of independence.
A step forward. Yes, a step forward.
Editor, and a way of extending the capacity for integrating new material, basically, and also a way, I guess, to be more proactive as editors.
Yes, that's
required a little bit of journalistic streak. Yes, and this is a way forward into writing the blogs feature that Platform Anthropocene wants to offer. So right now we only have the bibliography, but this will pave the way for blogs, I would say. Yes.
Yeah, I think this could be next step. Once you've done that, for example, say for 2 weeks you've been covering COP23, right? Say you have done, you have selected 5 or 10 entries, with news from COP23, and then as an editor you can write your own resume of what you got out of it, and that could be a blog entry, an original content blog entry, where one of the editors that has covered that topic writes half a page or whatever, 2 paragraphs on what they what the takeaway is from
right. No, if we have some let's say volume on this, technically speaking, we are not too far too far away from developing or offering our own let's say planthro blog space to writers. Of course, it has to be met with some volume.
I think another idea there, if we don't want to make it as a blogger, it could be made as a short video communication. Then we could post it on our YouTube channel. So you have 10 entries, which is a lot of material, but then out of it you make a 2-minute video where you say, okay, COP23 closed down this week. Main takeaways, this is the first time the US was not there, and in spite of that, US was one of the key topics in all agendas. CO2 has risen above 400 parts per million in the atmosphere, which is a new record, which the Earth atmosphere reached for the last time 400 million years ago. This kind of headlines, even in a video on a specific topic.
I think very interesting. I mean, we can also live stream a discussion on the topic. I mean, after closure, for example, let's discuss plastics in oceans. Live stream. Then maybe we can generate some income as well through that.
Yeah. No, certainly. Yes, I agree that besides blog space, this as a, let's say, output on social media from our side is also a good draw.
But
yeah, I think the first step to me is to gain some specialization there, if you want. So I think each editor should, for short periods. I don't mean that you have to do a master's on a topic, but you should, for a couple of weeks or a month, say, I'm gonna take care of this topic and become a little bit of an expert at this topic for this period, so that I can, start a discussion or sustain a discussion or, say something. Exactly. It's like reading the newspaper, but reading the newspaper about a specific topic following a specific topic. So, and I think this way we enter more into, journalistic really effort.
I think it's a very good idea, and instead of opening and closing topics, we can distribute editors among fields, right? For example, me, I'm gonna be the guy for plastics in the ocean. Pallavi is gonna be the woman for, I don't know, climate change. So then we can specialize on these fields, and then do our research ourselves, and then put entries on Anthropocene, and then lead some discussions, live stream like here on our topics, obviously supervised by Andrea.
Yeah, I wouldn't close it from the beginning. I think one nice thing is to be able to change and touch different topics. Again, climate change and plastic in the oceans are, very different scales in terms of the topic that you are touching, because plastic in the ocean is very specific, very technical. Climate change, is a huge topic with a lot of different, you can, different perspectives,
different parameters.
So I think we should. I think we should.
CO2.
Yeah, we should, exactly. And then you don't need to stick to that for the rest of your life or for the rest of the platform anthropocene lifetime. I think it is good. I mean, I would leave it open. If of course, if you wish to specialize for 2 years on plastic in the ocean, you're welcome. But then you will have we have many more topics than editors. So I think, either we carve 4 topics specific that cover everything, or we move, depending also on what is in the news, really, because, we need also to be responsive in terms of what the news talk about. If COP23 was last week, it is
what
not
is COP23, by the way? What is it?
COP is the UN climate change unit, organizes every year an international conference where all countries of the world participate, basically.
Okay.
It's called COP, and it's where world leaders agree on the actuations that they have to take to respect certain goals, all right, to avoid climate warming, climate change. So now they are talking about Horizon 2030 and Horizon 2050. And the main topics are, how do we keep CO2 lower? So of course there are, economic implications. Should we, all the CO2 taxations come out of COP23, of COP conferences. Same with CO2 carbon trading, emission trading. Same with renewable energy. Each nation stabilize. So Europe should produce 20% renewable energy by 2030 to be able to maintain average temperature increase below 2 degrees. So this is where really the policy makers meet the science and try to agree at the global level on who should do what to reach those goals. So it's a key. It's one of the key world conferences, yearly appointments for climate change adaptation, mitigation. Yeah. And it was last week. It's over today. It was led by Fiji this year. It was done in Bonn. So this is a very important event. It was in Marrakesh last year. Was in Paris the year before. So again, I think we should take the opportunity, and of course, there need to be an interest there among editors to learn something ourselves, basically, and translate it for the bigger public.
Good idea. Good idea, but then of course it requires further commitment from editors of their times.
I think it's again.
Sorry, I will just differentiate between, let's say, the role of editors and journalists here. In the sense, this role demands a little bit of journalistic attitude and streak and interest, aspirations. So it's not expected of everyone by default, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as I said at the beginning, the what prompted it was Prerna's initiative. She was talking about, what if I'm in the street and there is a manifestation about climate change and I want to record it? How do I? So I saw there, because she was trained as a journalist, that there was a demand to. So this is what I mean. The idea is really that we can all enjoy these tasks. We don't want this editorial task to become tedious copy paste exercise, and of course it will, if we can, we benefit the web page and ourselves if we can instead do something more proactive. But of course, I mean, there is no obligation.
Yes, certainly. No, it's great. Great as an idea, definitely, and a progression, definitely, for the aims of the platform.
So it was, I mean, I put it down in my agenda as a possible evolution of the content development strategy, because now it's very hierarchical. So it's like I select mostly the links and the topics, I put them online. But then, when I do that, I can add in the notes at the end, like if there is something like a regular conference or something that I think could be further developed and explored, then yes, it takes a bit more time, in a sense that you have to proactively look, you have to do a search by keywords on Google and try to find out more material about that topic. Of course, if the topic is interesting for you, I don't know.
By the way, Andre, we are not seeing you. I think your camera wasn't on the screen.
Yeah. In any case, we are, we have overshot the time by double, I think. So
okay.
Let's round up if we can, and any last round of questions or comments, and then we should conclude.
Okay, if I need to round up, then is again starting from the beginning is the image size for each entry is free. We take the highest possible resolution. The shape is free. We just have to select a small top left for the positioning of the image in each entry. Then there is we keep the standard proportion for the slider images, 16:9, with a minimum size of 960 by 540. We look with Massi into having a rolling sidebar with keywords, 100 plus keywords. We start developing or discussing this new content development strategy where editors can, slowly convert into journalists and eventually, produce short videos or their own blog entries on specific topics. And I think these are the key points today.
Right. No, all very good. Except in your first point, you said we should use the small, but I think we should let the editors decide between small or medium, whatever looks.
Okay.
Or we should decide on. What do you think? Should we?
Yeah,
decide?
I think we can try and see, and then that's a really minor thing to correct anyway.
Okay.
And something I forgot to say is just to pay some attention with the tags. As long as we use them, we may get rid of them in time, but and that's all for me for this meeting. I think it was a very rich meeting. It's a bit of a pity that we're missing Prerna and Pallavi. I hope they'll have the time to catch up watching the video. And then with Amit, there is a plan to develop proper video tutorials. So next time we have a tutorial with a new editor, I'll, and also based on the changes that we are applying now, we'll try to record the video tutorials so we don't have to do them live every time. And then, and then this can be posted on the YouTube channel.
Right. No, that's great. Good meeting, and that's all from my side. I'll let Thailand conclude and maybe ask questions or final comments.
That was all from my side as well. Amit, have you been watched? Have we been watched? Sorry, we are live right now.
Yeah, we were live. There were no watchers really because this wasn't publicized in that sense. But this will be archived on YouTube, and all this will be uploaded on YouTube. I'll share the link.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm done.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you in 2 weeks latest.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.